Hello, I'm Jack Phillips. I'm chairman of the RO Institute, and welcome to our case study. Among your materials, you should have a case study that we've sent to you that has multiple parts. It's called Family Mutual Insurance, FMI for short. I'd like to introduce the case study and discuss our expectations for that study. You see, we wanted to select a study, a particular program that you could relate to, we all could relate to. There's a lot of pressure these days on offering flexible work system to employees. And there's really a huge payoff for everyone involved. You see, if you can have people work at home, it's certainly a good thing for the employees. A very positive ROI there. It makes them very happy. They save money with travel and expenses and so forth. Also, as this case will show, it's a huge payoff for the company. There's a huge ROI possibility here. And if it's planned right, it would be delivered. And third, it's a positive ROI for the environment, because when you take an automobile off the street, you reduce the carbon emissions. And this case study actually calculates the number of tons of carbon not sent to the environment because of allowing employees to work at home. So the background for this is that the CEO of this company, this is a large health and insurance company, and health and life insurance company. This CEO was attending a conference in Calgary, Canada, and he was watching the evening news, and he saw an example of a local company that let its employees work at home. And they were talking about the number of tons of carbon that was prevented from going into the environment. So he got kind of intrigued with this, and he came back to the team and says, maybe we should look at this. He was thinking, I really didn't think we could help the environment much, but maybe we can if we could do this. So the team was very in favor of it. In fact, they were facing some issues. Some of the issues was that we were growing, and we were facing a situation where our growth is going to cause us to have to build a new building to house some of our employees. That was going to be very expensive. Also, we're having higher turnover than we'd like to have, and we think that maybe this would keep some people from leaving our organization. So you can see how this evolves in the study. The CEO was very instrumental in getting it started, but the staff knew that if you're just doing this to make ourselves look good about the environment, that's not worth it. That is, we won't continue it, we won't sustain it. But if it's a good investment for the company, maybe we will. So the key was not fund on an intangible. You see, that's an intangible for the company. That is, if we save carbon from going into the environment, it's not something that's going to be a financial gain to the company necessarily, but it's helping the environment. So we don't want to fund on an intangible necessarily unless we have to. And the other team members know that. So you can see the CEO role evolve and change and mature kind of during this project. And now, as they addressed the issue of working at home, they knew there were some great things that could happen here. Turnover being one. And obviously the environment would be another. But there also could be that we are getting more productivity, perhaps. Or it could be we having less absenteeism. We know we save the office space. So there's a great possibilities here. So there was some excitement about what they could do. But they knew that there would be some problems. See, there's some challenges of working at home. Not everyone wants to do that, so it had to be on a volunteer basis. And the managers would probably be our biggest roadblock. You see, the managers feel threatened by this. They like to see people at work, see them working. And if they're not there seeing them and watching them, they feel like maybe they're not working, or maybe you don't need me. If I have 15 people working for me and they're all working at home and it's working well, maybe you don't need me. Or maybe I could have 30 people, so you don't need another supervisor. So there's some insecurities in the minds of the first level manager and some things that they didn't know about how to manage remotely. So there's some challenges here. And because this represented a major challenge for them and a cost for them and a change for them, they thought we better know this in advance. You see, they selected two groups that they want to try this on, and that's the claims processors and claims examiners. And this is a big group. You almost have 1,000 people in there. If we make this big change with these groups of people, there'll be others who will be expecting that. So we have to be prepared for maybe other implementations. And suppose it doesn't work. It doesn't deliver the positive ROI that we thought. It'd be hard to go back to the previous state. You can imagine you spend the money and time setting up a place to work at someone's home, and you have all that expense, and you say, well, I'm sorry, this didn't work. You need to come back to the office now. We'll have to tear this out. Wouldn't work. So it has to be something that you can see the value. That led to forecasting. So you'll see forecasting ROI in this example. And that's why it was needed, because it's a huge policy shift. So we need to do that. And then pay attention to the results at the different levels. The reaction, the learning, the application, impact, and of course the ROI. As you read through this case study, you'll have questions at the end of each part. You got A through G parts. And as you read them, respond to those questions. Don't look ahead at the responses. Look at the questions and try to address them yourself as you think through it. What would you do as you look at those questions? So this will take you some time, but we think you'll find this as an interesting project. It's a real project. It's actually one that's often downloaded more than any other at an organization called the Society for Human Resource Management. And we published it in one of our books. And it's our book that's measuring ROI in the environment, health, and safety area. So this is one for the environment. And so it's in our book. And so that's where we bring in this to you, is directly from our book. We know you're going to enjoy the case study. Please enjoy. We'll discuss it some in the class as well, but please go through all parts and address all the questions. Thank you so much. See you in class.